Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 16th of July. Starting on with the FTSE 100, which is finding support above at and above the old resistance, 89.02 from last month, and also above the floor of that rising red trend channel there from the beginning of May. The notional support, obviously, towards 8900. Above that, we're looking for not only 90.40 by the end of this month, which we've been looking for since last month, but also the top of that rising trend channel from May as high as 92.30, perhaps by the end of next month. On the downside, worst case would be the need for a test of the 50-day line, 87.60, but as we managed to have a dip last month and find support above it, this market looking very strong indeed. Next on the list is the DAX, and here a market still finding support above that 50-day line. We haven't been haven't been below that since the 23rd of June, which is an achievement. Presumably, there will be a touch of that 50-day line there at 23,800 at some point, maybe intraday. But at least while we're above that, looking for 25,000 at the top of that 1 year rising trend channel, in fact, from the spring of last year at 25,000. But at the moment, still looking at the 50-day line as being about the lowest in the range, maybe down towards 23,600, but not lower than that. RSI still above neutral 50, so that gives the situation a slightly positive slant. Moving along to the Dow, which seems to, at least for now, found a block at 45,000. We have recent support around 44,000. Below that, looking for the initial June resistance, 43,100. And the 200-day and 50-day lines just below it, they just crossed for a golden cross yesterday, and obviously the market didn't really celebrate that at all, which is not a great sign. RSI still above neutral 50, it's 56, so we still have the glass half empty rather than half full rather than half empty, and really want to see an update today to stay above 44,000. Moving on to Bitcoin, which had its flurry up towards 123,000. Good that support is coming in now at and above the 115,000 level. We were allowing for a dip towards 112,000, the old May floor, but still looking for up to the top of that rising April 2024 price channel, 126,000, sometime before the end of July. But 112,000, hopefully the floor. And you've got that rising 50-day line coming up there as well to hopefully save the day. The situation at gold is next, and here we are still consolidating after the big rises in basically from January to April. The floor of the channel there around 3,300. Recent support towards 32.20, so that's probably the worst case scenario at the moment. Still trying to get a break of that April resistance line there, 33.30. And only above that would be looking for 3,800 maybe by the end of next month. But at the moment, has to be said, with the RSI falling below neutral 50 and also RSI failures in the low 50s, that tends to be a signal for the downside, and therefore we may need to be prepared for 32.30, 32.20 on that market. Moving on to the stocks, and not too many, given that it's quite early in the day where I am. And here we've got Alien Metals, which gapped up at the beginning of the month, and then we've had a gap fill rebound, plus another gap to the upside through the 50 and 200-day lines at 0.088. Current situation is that while we're above that, looking for at least a move back up towards the top of the recent range to 2025 resistance, 0.12, perhaps by the end of the month. RSI 50 rebound, basically a moment a bit lower than that, but that's also helping the cause as we look on this as a rising trend channel base. If you're a fan of the shares, looking for the best case scenario, that would be 0.17 by the end of next month. Obviously, we don't want to go below 0.08 at any time in the meantime. On to Eurasia, which delivered a couple of RNSs yesterday. Here we've got a situation, we've got support above a rising 50-day line at 4.17. Looking for the shares to consolidate above 5 pence. I think that would do the trick. Obviously, so far we've had a couple of failures at that, but through 5 pence on a weekly close basis, we could be up to the top of that channel at 8 pence by the end of next month. But the key here, holding that 50-day line. The 200-day line also rising, so that is a positive at the moment. Onto a requested stock, and here we've got Fusion Antibodies. It's been a long delay in terms of the consolidation that we've had after the peak in January. So quite frustrating, I think, if you're holding the shares. Here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel. For the channel there around the level of the 50 and 200-day line, so 6.3 pence. Top of the channel currently heading towards the 11 pence area. That's probably an end of September target if we can break out now. The breakout would be through, and is already through that line of resistance there from back in January. So 6.5 pence, the breakout level. And initially, obviously, looking for 7.5 pence. We can get that by the end of this month. We may be on our way for an 11 pence target by the end of next month. And obviously, we've got to stay on the right side of 6 pence. Onto Gfinity, where some people seem to be getting rather excited about it. Here we've had lots of consolidation, and it looks like it's time to have a move to the upside. We've broken a line of resistance through the 0.08 pence level, and above that, looking for the top of a rising trend channel from back in October, as high as a 0.15 by the end of next month as a best case scenario. But obviously, in the meantime, we need to get through that May spike around 0.1 pence. But 50 and 200-day lines rising there, double bounce for the RSI at neutral 50. So on that basis, we should be moving higher and have the momentum to do so. Onto Smarter Web, where even though we have Bitcoin at the highs or near the highs, this situation looks as though we are going to struggle to find support there. June uptrend line there around 284 pence. Obviously the low yesterday, 287. So an end of day close back below 287, and we could be looking at a potential move down towards the £2 area. But let's see how we do today in terms of the price action. RSI is still just above neutral 50, so that's probably telling us that we will bounce in the mid 280s and then head higher again. But that is just highlighting the stock as a potential or the risk of a breakdown. Onto a stock which doesn't have any risk of the breakdown, hopefully at the moment, which is Tower Resources. Here it's exceeded expectations. We've got a run up to a golden cross there, rising 50 and 200-day lines, multiple bounces at neutral 50 for the RSI, so that should be enough to take us not only to the initial target there at 0.043, but actually up to the top of the range by the end of next month, 0.05 pence plus. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 0.035, the late June resistance, as we do it, and we're in the run-up to a golden cross, probably just about a week away on that. Finishing off with Valerix, which I saw somebody mention on X, and here we've got a situation where we bounced, we had a gap higher, and we bounced off the floor of the gap and bounced off a rising 50-day line. Strong candles in the last couple of sessions. Looking for 1.14 pence as a best case scenario by the end of next month, or it's trying to work out what might do that. But the upside here, at least, valid while we're above recent or initial July resistance at 0.61. The long stop on that, 0.53 in the 50-day moving average. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.